pretty much ready here. If you don't know me, my name's Christy. I am from Junk Journal Boss, and I am just making sure that everything is looking right and stuff, and it looks like it is. And let's see. If you got here through Facebook, would you please let me know that? I started a new Facebook page in hopes of automating all of my notifications and stuff, because I don't have time to do notifications yet. It's really kind of needed. So I'm working on all of that stuff and hoping to get it, to where y'all can be reminded and I can also save the time. So anyways, again, my name's Christy. I'm with Junk Journal Boss, and what I do is I create folio kits like these. Well, we do. Ezra and I were a family-run, family-owned small business, and we thank you guys, whoever you are, that support us. Hello, Smart Size. Oh, so your name's Margot. Is that what you're trying to tell me? Because I'm a little zoned out right now, and I appreciate you letting me know your name. So yeah, we create folios, beautiful folios. We have a Patreon, and we have Facebook page and a YouTube channel, and where we share, how to make certain things. In the Patreon, you get free projects and other things like that. So to not make this super long, I just want to go ahead, and I guess I forgot to cut some things out, so I'll be doing that. And let me know where you're watching from, guys. I love to know, like, who is where. And this didn't turn out the way I needed it to. And that is going to just be okay. Let's see. Okay. Alright, this one looks okay. Sometimes when I'm printing, yes, thank you, Margot. Sometimes when I'm printing, I forget to pay attention to the direction for the double-sided printing. So I will have to, and this happens a lot to me because, I print a lot of stuff, and every once in a while it'll print the wrong way on the other side. So I have a fix for that where I don't have to waste the paper and the ink, and so I'm going to just go ahead and do this. Montana, nice. What's the weather over there at in Montana, Margot? And anybody else want to jump in and let me know where you're watching from? That would be great. I'd love to hear. Oh, thanks. I like this paper too. This each week I do one of our kits that is in our Etsy shop, and this one is Autumn Enchantment, and we have this folio available in our Etsy shop. If you would like to check it out, it's at junkjournalboss.etsy.com, and I believe it's one of the featured items, and you can use September 25 to get 25% off on it if you really like it. And I made this last year. Yeah, I like the low 60s. I made this design last year, and I kind of like I kind of like, you know, darker, more moody kind of stuff. So, you know, that was just sort of the vibe I was in last year. And so this is the cover. I'm going to cover the other side, you know, in a way that it just covers it all up since I messed up the printing. And this one is the extension. And on our sets or kits, we always add an extension to them with thicker spines, because we also include quite a lot. Yeah, September, no, yes, it's September 25, but no spaces in between, just like it's all one word. And that'll get you 25% off this folio. And then you can come back to this week's videos. This is the build video. Friday will be the embellish video. And so then you'll have like the whole video. Hi, Amy. Welcome in, Amy. Amy. Okay, so I should have cut all these out. That's what I should have done. So this right here is actually the what you're gonna connect it with. It's the connecting flap kind of thing, but it doesn't really look like a flap, but it is. It will be. But we're gonna go ahead and connect it here in just a second. And I'm just going to score it right along this line. And I'm also going to score it on this side of the line. And so if you have trouble finding it, Margot, let me know, because I don't mind posting the links. But right now I don't have, I usually have Ezra with me, but he's taking a break off of these streams. And so, because probably eventually he's going to be working, and that will not, so I need to get used to doing this without Ezra's help. And so there we go. Did I do these? Yes, I did. Okay, so let me do the folds. So you're watching me make this. You're watching me make this one, but this is how pretty much all of them are made. Next year we're going to be working on different styles, but most of our folios are like this one. So I probably want to cover this. And because I don't really want to create a whole lot of extra bulk, I'm just going to use some paper. And these papers are ones that I made with a gel print. Not this one, but some of these other ones. So I kind of want to pick something out that I have already made and that will match really well. And because I sort of like the dark gothic moody kind of stuff, you know, some of my pages are like that, but I also like really super bright, and you know, I like a lot of different things. I don't know if I have a specific vibe. Anybody that's here that knows me, do I have a specific vibe? Because I feel like I'm kind of, you know, we do a lot of different things, where a lot of these, a lot of the junk journalers online, or journal makers online, are, they do their stuff more on the vintagey side. We tend to do stuff on more of the colorful side, or the goth sort of side of things. So we're a little bit different, and we like it that way. And so, so I grabbed a few pieces of paper that I can probably use, but let's see what actually matches. So I think this one will work. And that will help me to cover some of this up. I probably can cover from here to here, and then I'm gonna have to do something about this down here. So I will figure that out when I get to it. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and, let's see. I think I'm gonna cut this with my ruler. See how that looks? Pretty much perfect. Do it one more time. And so this by far is the easiest way for me to cut. I do like the shabby kind of look of edges, you know, that are ripped, but I like them to be a little straighter for certain things. So let's see. So I've got one here and I've got one here, and so why am I not doing this in here? Does anybody know that? I've said it like a million times, and that's the reason why I'm asking that question. And so if you don't know, that's okay. I don't want to put any bulk in these little spines, okay? I just don't want to do that because it ends up not fitting very nicely, and you'll see what I mean later. All right, so there's one. And I'm just using this silicone spreader because I don't want the lines of glue, because this glue dries pretty quickly. I don't want the glue to be too bumpy underneath all this. So that's why I wanted to have something that sort of matched here. And so now I'm not covering up any of the spines. And so that means that it won't be too much of a problem to fold these up. And like I said, we have an extension on it. You don't have to use it, but we have extensions with all of our folios. And and those make it easier to fit more into the kit. So I'm just trimming off the excess on the outside. So another option for that is inking the edges, and so there's always that option. So now I am going to turn this over, and I'm going to glue the two sections together. And if I want to, I can add a little extra paper. Oh, I should have waited, huh? Oh well, that's okay. So, like when you make mistakes, it's not a big deal. You can always fix them. All right, so let's see. I think I'm going to ink edges here, just because inking edges is a super easy way to cover up like any white stuff, and that'll take care of this one here. You can do these, and most often you'll see people doing this with the vintage photo Ranger ink, which is what I'm going to go ahead and use today. But you can do like different colors and stuff. Yeah, you know, I like to ink the edges, and I like the way it looks, but even more than that, I like that it covers up mistakes, and it just makes it a little bit easier to cover mistakes than coloring or, you know, whatever. It's just, it really just brings it together. Oh yeah, the Alice in Wonderland. So you were here when I did that Alice in Wonderland one? Yeah, that was such a good design. And I didn't make that paper, and it seems like a lot of people, you know, are making Alice in Wonderland paper. I'm not really sure whether I'm going to do that, because I liked the paper that I was using so much, and that one was, I believe it was, why do I want to say Stampendous? No, it's Stamperia. So I really, really love that particular paper. I don't know if it is discontinued or anything. But I thank you so much, Margot, for watching, for hanging in with me. I've had to do a lot of tapering way back on things that I do, and it probably feels like I'm ever changing. If it doesn't, I'll be surprised. But you know, I just want to make sure that I can do the things that I say I'm going to do for you guys. And so yeah, these two, even though they printed alike, somehow they didn't print correctly either. But that is going to be fine, because all I really need to do is make sure that this will fit when I close it all up. And so I would like to make sure that it closes up exactly the way I want it to. So I am going to cut off a little edge. And so sometimes you might want to do this, especially if you're adding an extension. You probably want to cut off a little teeny bit of this. And it's just, everybody's a little bit different the way they put their stuff together. And so we just leave things the same size as we created them. That way, if you are better at folding than I am, then you can most definitely use it that particular way. But this is the way I like them to sit. And so I'm not averse to putting a new score line or something like that, but I like them to be to where they fold kind of in like a rectangle. All right. And so finishing with the inking now. So there we go. I could ink the inside and everything like that. I'm just not ready to do that yet. But I'll look on the other side and do some inking here. I mean, it's pretty dark already, but again, you know, it just gives it a little bit more of a finished look. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and just do these edges here slightly, because sometimes when you fold printed paper, it sort of creates like a little bit of white. It shows a little bit of the inside, so this takes care of that. And it just sort of finishes it off nicely. So when we fold it, here's what the outside will look like. It looks pretty good, pretty neat, right? And that's all of that I'm going to do. Now usually I keep the flap, the closure flap on the outside here on this side, because I tend to open it up to the left. You also can open it up to the right and unfurl it that way if that's what you'd like to do. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm actually used to doing it this way, but I mean, there's no right or wrong way. It's just the way you do it. Okay, my desk is starting to get pretty crazy looking. So let me set some things aside real quick. Just kind of wondering, I've had that weird paper. It's not really even paper. It's like, it's almost like plastic. And I've been trying to figure out how to use it for like years because I got it at Dollar Tree a million years ago. So let's set this aside, do a little more cutting. And so today what I want to do is I want to actually put the whole thing together, and you know, all of the stuff, thanks Holly, all of the stuff that goes inside of it, I want to put all that in. And then on Friday, is that like the most horrible sound ever? Because if it is, I'll move it and do it somewhere else. But I want to actually use different kinds of embellishments, and lately I've actually been making a lot of embellishments in the Mega Make Mondays, and those are really fun. And there's just a whole, you know, there's just a whole bunch of things that I've been able to make over the past few weeks that we've been doing it. I think we started it in August, and I just never even looked back, you know. I really like it, and it makes it so much easier to just pull from stuff, and if you know, pull from my own stash, not feel like I have to buy any. Oh, you like this sound, okay. But you know, so I don't have to buy any things. I love going down the let's see, I love going down the aisles and looking at all like the Tim Holtz stuff and everything, but I have always kind of been this person that is like, I can make that, you know, and I usually can, and so I do. And it just feels like, man, for the price of that, whatever it is, I can probably buy the ingredients, if you will, and you know, and make a whole crap ton of them. So, okay, so are you wanting to know, let me just say that what I just cut was 8.5, these were 8.5 by 11s, but these cut down to something like 6 1/4 by 5 3/4. So all you would do, like I do mine double-sided, you know, so they come out pretty good that way. Right, Holly, same. So let's see, this is usually the size that, well, no, this is actually the size that we used to do. I think we might make these in various sizes, but most of the time, you know, they're going to be on our older kits from last year. They'll be this size. And so that's that. And if you want to print double-sided, I mean, if you print double-sided, you'll probably know how to print double-sided, but we create them, at least this set I know for sure because I'm looking at it. It's a teeny little bit off, right? But that can always be fixed with, you don't even have to cut that stuff off. You can always fix it with the Distress ink. I know, Holly, right? Because I know those are going to run out. And I always think like, oh, let me save it for a rainy day, but I'm not much of a, you know, save it for a rainy day person anymore. I just like to use things. And there are some things that I just really always want to use, and so those are the ones that I really want to duplicate. Okay, so here we go. Looking good. Looking pretty good. You can do these individually. I just wanted to get this white covered here. But yeah, it's really a great way to cover up any mistakes, any printing mistakes. Sometimes the printing mistakes are too big to use this for that, but all in all, you know, it really, really does do a lot to fix like glaring mistakes. Let me actually do this. So like when it's closed like this, or the whole book. Let me just tell you both. So when it's closed like a signature, you've got 3 by 5 3/4. And then this is, which fits actually pretty perfectly into one of the pockets. And when you close this whole thing, you've got about, let me see, make sure I'm seeing it right. Yeah, about 6 1/4 by 3 3/4. Does that answer the question, Margot? If not, keep asking. I'll get it one of these times. All right, so normally what I do, and I know this is really the lazy way to do signatures, but this is the way I do it. I use large staples, small staples, sometimes the different stapler, but this is just the fastest way for me to do it. Oh, I did something upside down. Did I? Oh no, I didn't. That was weird. Let me make sure, because I really did look through this and make sure I didn't put something upside down, and so it looks like I did not. Okay. All right, good. Okay. So this kit comes with all of these things, all of these pages, and also 2 pages of ephemera. And you don't have to use it all. Sometimes it'll all fit, sometimes it won't. You can cut any of these down and use them in a different way. Like say you don't really want to do the sides. Let me just show you what I mean. Let's say that you didn't really want to do all the folding and the scoring and stuff. You can just cut this like this. No big deal. And I can show you the difference between the two. Both ways are fine. It just depends on what you intend on putting inside of the pockets. If you do it this way by cutting all the flaps off, you will be able to you can actually make this more 3D-ish. Just make sure that when you're gluing these on that they're actually going between. And for some reason this is looking like it's too big, and I don't know why. But anyways, whatever. Just cut a little bit off of each side. It's not losing anything. And just, you know, I can either make this flat just by gluing these here, and you know, then I can just put like 1 or 2 pieces of ephemera in there, or I could do a different thing where I use some mounting tape, or mounter's tape, I guess, and I can have it kind of go 3D-ish by using this, and it really is not a super thick tape, but it is thick. So here we go. These, I think, need to be trimmed a little bit. And then also I'm going to ink these edges. And so all of the mounting tape that I have is kind of, it's come from all over. So I don't know where this one came from, but I get it from my old junk drawers, and also my mom's old junk drawers and dad's old junk drawers, and also at Dollar Tree. So let's see what I've got here. Since it's all sort of the same color, I just kind of want to make sure that this gets inside of the score lines and it's just right in there. So there's that, and I'll do another one as well, and I'll do it with, actually with these on it. And so the way you do this is, I need a ruler and I need a stylus. And so I do this on the front because it's easier. I like it better, I like the way it works better on the back, but this way I can at least just get them straight. Maybe that one could be a little bit over. So let's try that with the, that was really so close. So I'm gonna have to try to get it. Oh well. Again, you know, what I was trying to do was getting it closer so that wouldn't show, but guess what? This works fine. And so you can add this, you know, I'll add it right above. I mean, I kind of think, well, anyways, it doesn't really matter. I'll just add this right above here. Actually, I forgot, it's a little wider, remember? So I'm gonna need to do this. I think I might add it right here. Sometimes I like to, oh, here, this is what we'll do. We'll actually add it right here. I like that contrast a lot. So then what this does when you do it with when you make it with these flaps, you know, is that it creates more of a 3D pocket. And so let's see. Grab some paper clips. Paper clips are my favorite. Just hold those on there for a bit. And so it makes like sort of an easier to open versus this one. Well, this one is also easy to open, but if I wouldn't have used the mounting tape, it would have been a little bit harder, and it would have been better to actually, you know, just put 1 or 2 pieces of ephemera in there. So when I have all of these scraps, because inevitably, you know, you're going to get scraps of your paper, and I sometimes use expensive paper, not always, but sometimes. And so I usually will just put it in an envelope, and then when I'm watching TV or something, I will just simply start making things with it. So it can, and I hadn't thought of it. I think this is like kind of that problem too, and that should be something that I make an amendment to this with. But I don't think it really matters. No, you're fine. You're fine. I didn't pay attention to it, but then I overlook things. But listen, when I go in, if you guys get this today, I can turn these around so that it will match this. And that's just something I didn't really realize, but it's easy enough to do. And then I will, and then I'll make sure that you guys get it for free, you know, the amendment to the thing. So anyways, sometimes that happens. But yes, you should be able to exercise your OCD with our kits. So and that's no joke, because I'm pretty much everything ADHD, short of a diagnosis. But I really do understand, you know, when things just like bug ya, you know. So anyhow, so these are the diagonal pockets, and these are actually what I use to put the signature into. And I'll show you that. Yeah, it is. I'm just not gonna lie, that our designs, how about we don't do it that way? Our designs are getting better and better over the years, you know, or well, they have over the past year. And so we've worked out a lot of those kinds of bugs, but there might be some, you know. And if we need to make any corrections, you know, that you see that we don't already know about or whatever, or that we're not already working on, feel free, you know. to let us know that, because we want our products to be good products that you guys like and that don't feel like a waste of time and money. So a lot of people out there making these kinds of kits, and I don't know, guys, we want ours to be the best, but we realize there's lots of people that do this, and you know, whatever we can do to make them extra good for you guys, we want to do that. Yeah, it's the truth. Crafting really does help. It's the way it works for me is like, especially with when I started, you know, mass making stuff. I think I'm going to do something with this. It's a little different. When I started mass making stuff, it was super helpful for me. It actually was kind of revolutionary for me because I work well in an assembly line. Type of thing. Hold on. Let me cut this so I don't just start saying gibberish to you. So yeah, I work really well with assembly line builds and stuff because I tend to have to learn things over and over. Every time I do it again, I'm starting to really get used to, you know, building our folios, that I don't really have to, you know, I can kind of stray out of what we had originally, the intention that we originally built them with. But now I can do a little bit different things, and this is something that I'm doing differently because I can. And I made a hidden paper clip, and I can add that here, or I can add that here, you know, or I can add it, you know, elsewhere, wherever I want, really. And if you don't want these to stick up over the top, or say you make it and it does, just fake it. The other option would just be to tuck it into a pocket or whatever, but I felt like that was going to be too boring. So if I pop it on here like this and close it, then it's less noticeable, the stark white, right? Yeah, I do love these pumpkins too. So pretty. All right. Let's see. There's that. I think I'll add this guy here just for a minute. Oh, forgot to do this part. Okay, so we've got that so far. We can probably remove this. Set those aside for later use. And I just scratched the paper, so I'm going to go ahead and just do a little thing like that. And if I want to, if I feel like that looks too crazy, you know, then I can just kind of do, you know, some more around that edge. And so, but I'm not going to do it because I don't really care that much. So with fussy cutting, I like to use a large scissor for these long lines because it gives me more of an opportunity to make this straight with you know, long scissors. I'll show you a different way I fussy cut small things that makes it so much easier. I mean, fussy cutting is fussy cutting, right? It's not fun. Or maybe it is, I don't know, for someone. I have to admit though that I think I have fussy cutting shoulder right now. I've been feeling some shoulder pain lately, and I'm sure that it's because, well, I mean, I haven't been fussy cutting as much as I've been ripping fabric, and I'll show you some of that on Friday. But I like to pick up clothes at the Goodwill or Salvation Army or something like that has really neat designs on it. And so lately what I've been doing is ripping them up and into strips so that I can use them for stuff. And if you're in the Patreon and you're not going to Make Mondays, and you want a whole bunch of stuff, you want to come to that activity that we do. We do them 4 times a month, and so you don't have to go every time, but if you want to make all of the different things, basically what I show you guys is, oh, there's another little correction I think I need to make here that I did not know about. What I do is I'll show you, like, say, a couple of ways to make, I think we have altered paper clips coming up, you know. So I might show you like 3 ways to make altered paper clips. And all of the ways are so easy that you could just do them, you know, in an assembly line fashion. It is tedious work, so I like tedious work. Oh gosh, that was horrible. Sorry about that. You know, so fussy cutting, I can stand it, you know, doing it. Oh, yeah. Hold on one sec. I think I need to get another one of these. I wasn't there. Oh, this one's getting crunchy. Yeah, so you came into the Discord group, Holly. I believe if it was this Monday, I have a recording of that. It took me a minute to get the recordings going for those. So you'll be able to see it. And we did, what did we do? Things. We did things. Yes. All right. Yeah. So I just need to, if I haven't already, I need to upload it to Vimeo, and I can give you the link to that. So this one doesn't have very many like really long straight cuts or anything. So when I cut this, I'll just turn it with my left hand. And this is probably not the best example because it's not one of the harder fussy cuts. Let's try this one here. And then you could see a little bit better. And I learned this from somebody online. And I usually try to credit the person, but I have been watching a lot of videos lately. And so some of the people that I have been watching are Heather and Jan Studio. Heather? Is there Heather? No, it's not Heather. It's DJ. And also there was another lady that I was watching. She's very perky. And she's got really great ideas. So I've been getting some really nice ideas to bring back to you guys. So basically I'm leaving my right hand stationary pretty much and just turning it with my left hand. And I'm sure that probably helps my shoulder a bit, you know. I'm not sure what you mean. Yeah, she's pretty awesome. DJ. Super friendly, super nice lady. And I keep missing her live streams on Friday. Okay, so this is what this one looks like. Yeah, this, I think you're talking about this. And yes, there is a notch, but I don't like to cut them out with my scissors. I usually will punch these out, and that's the reason why I left that way. But you certainly can if you don't have a punch this size. You know, just do it like fussy cutting and just turn it as needed. See, this is what happens. Oh, it turned out okay, because this part bent, but sometimes I end up cutting like way over here, and then, you know, perfectly on one side and not on the other, and it just looks weird. That's the reason why I've resorted to doing that with a punch, but this time it worked out pretty well. It's just a little bit bent, but whatever, right? Getting warm enough in here that everything is sticking to me. It's lovely. All right. What happened here? Somewhere around here is my little presser thingy. What do you guys call these? Because I call it a burnisher because somebody told me that's what it's called, but it is so hard to remember what to call it. No, this. The thing that I press the edges of my paper. Yes, I do have a fan on, if that's what you're making reference to, Margot. I'm sorry if it's... Oh, scraper's good. If it is the fan too loud? I do have a fan on, but yeah, things are still sticking. All right. So now, a scraper. That might work for me, Holly. So I'll add this one here. And again, if you don't want to do all of that cutting and you don't want it to necessarily be coming off the page like this one does, you can always skip cutting those out, which I think I'm going to do that because that way you can see the difference. Are you making this along with me, Margot? You can always, yeah, bone folder, that's a good one too. I can always remember that because I have one that's like this. I actually have a whole bunch of these. I wanted to buy it, but it ended up being that there was like a 10, it was like a 10 pack. And I'm like, why? But anyways. All right, so let me go ahead and cut. I'll show you how I do this. And I just pop that into there. And it does come out much better. See, it's a little bigger. But at any rate, it's fine. So now I'm just gonna put that down flat. So hopefully you guys can see the difference, and I'm sure that most of you have done things this way, but for anybody who was wondering. Okay. This is good just to kind of slip a couple things in. This one would be good to maybe pack more stuff into it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and just pop this guy in here. And then we always add this. And you can use this as like some sort of a closure for this. I always tend to cut this up and use it in some way. Nice. Okay, that's a good idea. See, I love that when you guys share your ideas with me, because like one of the biggest things for me is perspective. Sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but I tend to like get stuck in like there's a way to do it, and you know, like I don't ever say things like that to you, like there's one way to do it, but for me somehow my mind just wants to tell me, you know, that there's one way to do a thing. And of course I'm always wrong. So anyway, but I can kind of give you an example of how you could use this as a closure. Let's see. I'm winging this because I've never done this before, so just know that. So, say I glued it down all the way over here, and I actually could probably glue it more toward the end here, and then bring it around. And either this can have a magnet on it and this too, and it can close like that. That way you don't have like the issue with the magnet closures. Because if you built the inside first and then you go, oh man, I wanted to have a magnet, it's a bummer. You know what, I think I will just go ahead and do this closure this way. And let me spruce this thing up a little bit though, because I'm gonna, it's almost like there's too much white on here. Not sure why that is, but it is. So that looks a little bit better, a little more. Yes. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let me make sure I'm doing this right. We don't want to be making any assumptions here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just glue. You know what, it'd probably be easier if I just took this tab off, inked this edge, and went ahead and added this here. Around over here, and I can glue this if I want. I don't know if I need to. I don't know if it would be better. I have to think it through, but you know, when I'm winging it, I'm winging it. Oh, looking for my magnets here. I hope I don't drop that drink. Let me put it over here. There we go. It's all safe and sound now. So a couple ways I could do this. If I wanted to use the, I believe these are, let's see. I have a couple different options here. Goodness. Okay, so these are 12mm by 1, and so I'm going to go ahead and peel off a few off of there. And I think what I'll do is I will put one on one side, one on the other, and position it properly the way I want. Let's see, kind of will be good there. Will it though? See. Oh, okay, I see. So it'll be like that. All right. So I'll go ahead and just glue it down. Let's go around. And so we're gonna let that sit for a minute, and I don't have to mess with it too much, but what I do need to do is I need to figure out where I'm gonna put this one over here. So I am going to put a little glue. And now I know where it's gonna go. So I'll leave that as is. And I can leave it, if I want to, I can leave it uncovered. It doesn't have to be covered. It's just easier to keep it in place if it's covered, because, you know, once you place it and you cover it, then everything is just, you know, it's done, right? But usually when I have an uncovered piece there, I don't usually like it. Because it's, I don't know, it's just kind of ugly looking. So we're gonna beautify it a little bit, sort of. And so you can just, I'm not sure what side would look best, this or this. I suppose that would. I can always, though, cut out one of these little pumpkins and put it on there if I wanted to. But I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I would like to actually, boy, these magnets want to grab every single thing. I'm just going to go ahead and cut this little bitty card out. This should be like a little a little journal card if you wanted to. You could. And then add, I think my little thin Sharpie is running out, sadly. And this is, you know, if you have the time to do tedious things. If you don't have time to do tedious things, or you don't like to, I'm giving away in my Patreon for free. I do these goodie alerts, and the last one I did was actual quarter page and eighth page little lined cards that you can print out and glue to the back of your journal cards if you don't like doing this kind of thing. I usually don't. For some reason, I don't know, I just don't get any enjoyment out of drawing my own lines, but it is a thing you can do on those journal cards. So just by joining Patreon, for the free, level, you can get all those goodie alerts that I've given in the past, and you can get those lined items as well for your journal cards. There's about 6 pages, and they're kind of in a super light bluish and a lighter brown, a light brownish. So sometimes what I do is have 2 signatures, so I'll do like an extra. Hello, Desiree, how are you? Happy to see you. And so I really do think that I cut everything out already. So, is there anything you guys had a question about? Or would you like me to show you some of the Mega Make stuff that I've made in the past? Oh, wait a minute. I do still have a magnet to do. Here comes Bella. Here she comes. Hello, Bella. Did you want to get past? Our animals are like royalty over here. Okay, cool. I'm just going to do this last part. Hi, Bella. What can I do for you? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to take a very short break and go give Bella some food. And then also I'll gather together the Mega Make stuff. So if you guys need to visit the restroom or go grab something to drink, yeah, go do that. And I'll be back within 5. Okay, I am back. So, since we started Mega Make Mondays last, let's see, yeah, last month, I believe it was probably first week of August. Bella's back. We started with creating, I believe it was something before button brads. I can't remember what it was, but these are button brads that I have created. You can make these out of old earrings. Here, let me bring you a little bit closer so that you can see things a little better. Move this one out of the way. Okay. All right. Okay, so basically all they are is they're either, you know, fabric and buttons, or, you know, just buttons. They don't always have to have buttons. That's just what I kind of called them. But you can use these or make these out of lots of different things. And I made some out of, this was like a little lapel pin. And I just, let's see. Okay, that's not working. And I bent this part down. And so I can actually put this onto a page, any page. Hold on, let me see if I can find something interesting. So if I wanted to, I can poke a little hole in this and add it to this. I think I might go ahead and do that. Just for fun. And it'll be a start to, say, like an Italian, you know, themed card. All right. I made these out of like jewelry pieces that were, this one was glued to a button. I've made them out of regular buttons. I've made them out of these little, I don't know, these cheap little, let me turn it this way. These cheap little, I don't know what it is, what the fabric of this is, but it's just like a little ribbon. And here's like another tack. Here's a bracelet link. You can tell because it's got the two holes on the side. And all I did was glue it to the back, or to the top of a brad. So you can make these in lots of different ways. This one I made out of an enormous button and some fabric. And so, you know, this one I made just with fabric, which I like a lot. I like using a lot of fabric. So that was one thing we did. Another thing we did was we took all of the scraps that we had and made a bunch of, I don't know where the rest of these are. I think I did something with a lot of these, but I made like pretty heavy duty cards by just folding my scraps and gluing them together. And so now when I'm getting ready to do my Christmas stuff, you know, I'll have a few Christmas things available, you know, fall, and then, you know, spring. I mean, there's just lots of different, you know, these are just papers that have been sitting for ages. And I just figured I'd do something with them, even if I don't know what I'm doing. what I'm going to use these for. I just put them all together because it clears out my scraps and leaves more room for scraps because I'm going to have a lot of them. So yeah, there's that. The next thing we did, or one of the things we did, was we just took, you know, our half sheets of paper and things like that and made like pockets out of them. I didn't glue them or anything. I made them in all sorts of different ways. And so all sorts of different papers that I hadn't been using. Turn this over. And so now I have a whole bunch of different things. I have no idea what I'm going to use these dog bone ones for. I really just don't know. But I'm going to put them in here. Or this argyle. I don't know. I have no idea. But I have pockets that are in 2 different sizes. Oh, here are the rest of the cards. And so some of these are super ugly, you guys. Super ugly. But there may be something to do with these at some point in the future. Another thing that this is something, not really something that we did together, but this is something that I started doing, was just taking scraps of paper and rolling them up to make long beads. And they don't look very good, you know, like that. This is also paper. I feel like I need to... So these ones are also paper. They're really just, you know, scraps of paper that I made into those beads. And they don't look very good until, let's see. I thought these were here, but what I ended up doing was covering them. I could probably show you. This is another bead that I made like a long time ago, right? And I used some of this stuff, which is fun. Triple thick brilliant brush gloss glaze, and it ends up making everything look really glossy and really finished, and I really like that a lot. So it's super easy to use this stuff. I only just apply it with a, you know, with another toothpick onto it and then let it dry for a while. So there's that. Another thing that I have made, that we made in Mega Makes, I think this was probably the first one, and it was the altered playing cards. And so everything that I make, you know, I don't usually complete them. Some of them I do, but most of them I don't necessarily complete them all the way, because I want to be able to come here and go, oh, so these are the colors I'm using in this journal, and I want to be able to grab this out and just kind of have a, you know, just a not very finished palette to work with. So I left this one, but I could do something like that with it, you know, and then it would be usable. But all of the stuff that I've done is sort of halfway done, with a few exceptions, because I want to be able to go through all of my things, or go through my junk journal and go through all these things and find some stuff that I can use. This is one of these little tags that These are like bread tags. I don't think I have them in this thing. So these are just the kind of bread tabs that you get, you know, off of your bag of bread from the store. And I covered these with paper, and then I put them together with a an eyelet. And so now I have something that I can put onto a junk journal page. And they are kind of difficult to put on, but once they get used to being spread open, you know, you can basically just put these on a page, and they look really cute. You can use them, you can use them like this, maybe tie something to it, ribbon or whatever, or you can use these like this, staggered on different pages for tabs to turn the pages. So those are really fun and cool. And let's see. Oh, and this is what I've been working on lately. So I have a lot of like clothing and scarves and things from my mother. Some of these might be familiar to you and some may not, but I don't have the space to hold whole pieces of clothing in my fabric and ribbon drawer. So what I've been doing is actually taking them apart and tearing these into strips. And so let's look in here and see if any of these might be good for today's. So if this didn't already have a closure, and even if it does, we can still kind of do something with these. Let's just see which ones match. It's probably just going to be black, I'll bet. And I think I've got probably at least one black in here. Yeah, maybe not. You know, but these are all just scarves that my mom used to wear to work. And I could have given them to, you know, the Salvation Army or something. And I've given quite a lot to them as far as clothes go. But, you know, I wanted to use things from my mom, you know, in my junk journals. So, I've got this. None of these look like they would look very good with this. But, if you have a lot of different colors like this, you'll be sure to find ways to use it. And if you don't want to use it necessarily like that, like in long strips, what I'm finding is that I have a lot of little pieces like this left over, you know? And so what I started doing is taking like all the seams and everything and just making little knots and bows out of these. And it really just kind of uses everything. So, you know, that's always really fun for me to just sit and do things like this. So I worked on these and almost finished, well, I finished all the ripping of this one. And I've got, you know, a bunch of these now. And what I do with those, and this is just my own personal mega make, right, I get like tablet backs and cut them up. This one probably will have quite a bit, so I'll go ahead and use this size. And I just take it and cut a notch. Put this in. And then just start winding it all around. If you don't want to use it a whole piece like that, you can cut off a piece, and that could be part of a stack. And you know, so basically that's all I'm doing is just winding it around and saving it so that I can use it in my journals. And some of this is kind of, some of the pieces are kind of wonky, but it's not a problem. Some of them are really short, and then some of them are longer. But generally, I'm just joining the short ones to the long ones. And what I mean by join, I mean, you know, just locking them in with the next one. And so I end up with a really cool bunch of different kinds of fabric that I can use. It's already distressed, you know, it's ripped and everything. All of these are like this. There's some of that. And that's what I do. I just watch movies or TV shows or whatever and wind those up. So I'm working on the green ones, and I'm also working on these ones here because I absolutely adore paisley and anything that kind of looks like paisley. So these are going to be really fun to use. And so if you're trying to get rid of, like, say, let's see, like say you're ready to take the next step and do something with some of these. That one is particularly ugly, you guys, this one here. There's a few that are kind of ugly here. So rather than, you know, trying to figure out what in the world am I going to do with this because it's just so ugly, you know, you can perhaps, you've already got the bare bones. If you never end up using this, you can just cover it all the way in fabric and make it a stack, basically. So if you have cards that you really like and you want to add something to it, like I like these little bows a lot. I think they're super cute, and you know, I might just glue something down on there like that and then just add, you know, a picture or something or whatever. Also, I have this that has a bunch of this color on it. If I want to, I can cover it, or I can just, you know, take advantage of the two colors, add a strip, maybe, you know, add some flowers or something, and be done with it. Or if I wanted to, I could make a flower. It would be better to do this, you guys, if you have a needle and you just go over under all the way across, and you can gather it a little bit, and then you can wind it around, you know, to make a flower. Let me see. I might be able to just do that right now. You know, and we're just making shabby stuff, right? So there's not really a whole lot of issue with everything looking perfectly pristine. Almost never do I do anything like that. So I think I might have a better color for this. This might be cooler to use this color. And this was from a small, probably a handkerchief, you know, that goes like in the breast pocket of a man's suit. But this is kind of what I sit around and do, is just try to figure out how to use the things that I've got, you know, use them creatively, and see what I can come up with, you know. And so this, if you wanted to make a bunch of flowers, it would be simple enough to do a mass make or a mega make of them. And or bows or whatever. Does anybody else go to the thrift shop or take their own clothes and tear them apart to use in their junk journals? Because I feel like I'm probably preaching to the choir here. I use fabric in different things like masterboards and stuff. I'll do a mixture of paper and fabric. So like, all right. I take my string from here, maybe tie it to this one, and it's going to have a bulky back, so I'm going to have to not yet. I'm going to have to maybe work on this particular piece of ephemera, but this could work, you know. This is just too short, I think, is the problem, so I'll just do it this way. Yeah, that's awesome. I started, you know, doing that with my fabric, is just cutting it in strips, because I'm not really, right now, I'm not really using like large pieces of fabric for anything. But I have left some of it, you know. So anyways, so I've got this thing that looks, you know, sort of like a flower. You know, you can shape it or whatever you want to do. And it was just kind of an over under and a tie thing. Oh, it came untied. You know why? Because I'm using wax thread, and so it's not that great about staying tied. But yeah, you know, I am kind of a, like I said before, I'm a person that just, you know, I'll buy ingredients, you know, for crafts versus, you know, actual made things. Yeah. So it's really cute, you know? It's just a little, let's see if I can get it, yeah, into focus a little more. So I could take something like this and add it here, or put it kind of like a, what are those things called? Like a boutonniere sort of thing. And, you know, yeah, see, it wants to keep coming undone. You don't even have to keep it done. What you could do here is just, whoops, that really came out fast. You can use it, pretend, okay, with me for a second, but you can use it as like a ribbon, you know. Oh, forget it. This wax thread really did me wrong here. But anyways, it's, yeah, 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 it does remind me of that too, a carnation bud. So, you know, there's a ton of things that you can do with things that you would be either throwing away, giving to the Goodwill. There's some fabrics that I couldn't really let go of. Yeah, ruffle on the edge. That I thought were such cool fabrics. I looked at this shirt for months, you guys, and I just really like the colors, and it's cotton, so it would be really easy to fray. And then I also like this one a lot, and I thought it would be really cool, you know, to use that for something. Other things that I have done, I don't know where that thing is. I'm starting to save these. Like the collars. I'm not sure what I do with those, but these already have holes in them for buttons. So these actually could be closures if I sewed a button onto here, you know, it would make a pretty cute closure, right? Here's the side with the buttons, you know. So I don't know, I think I got something here with all these different pieces of clothing, and my goal is to find a way to use all of it. And yeah, oh, and this is, let me just go into this really quick since we're talking mega makes. This is what we did Monday. Yeah, belly bands, whatever, you know. So I made a whole bunch of these, and this is going to be, this video is the one that I was talking about, Holly, where I showed you guys how to make a few different things. In the Discord, there is going to be, I think it's in the Mega Make Mondays thread, where I give you guys the patterns for this size file folders and for this size. And this is the one we made. You know, just out of this paper that we just used today, and it's so pretty. And actually, I may be able to use this in there. I forgot to even think about whether it would fit in here at all. I mean, I could cut these down and fit it, you know, but it would look so cute, right, in here. I think I will cut them down. They don't have to be this long, you know. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm going to cut them sort of much closer to the edge and just round these off just a little bit. See what this gives us. Still a little too big, so maybe I'll have to cut a little bit more off. But you also can take that pattern that I gave you guys and you could print it out at, like, say 90% or 80% on your printer and make a smaller version of this that will fit in here, right? So yeah, I really like this in here, but I think it's not going to work for me. So I also showed you guys how to do a pamphlet stitch with a piece of that scarf that I had used before. And so anyhow, what's cool is that when you have a whole crap load of this stuff, you already just have something to put into the pockets. Just find something matching that you made and you know, start putting them in the pockets. And if you make these, make sure to save a few because we're going to use them for a different project, Mega Make project that's coming up. So here's a couple more versions of what we made. It's just little, you know, signatures, and I made them a couple different ways. Or you could make a mini junk journal with harder paper, you know, or a few layers. So anyways, that's what I've got for you guys today. I keep like running really short of time, so I don't know if I need to adjust that or what, but I end up with, like, you know, 30-ish minutes extra. I don't know. Do you guys like for me to show you other stuff, or would it just be better if it was over? Either way is fine for me. I just want to make sure that I'm bringing to you guys something you actually want to watch. So yeah, it's whatever. Just let me know in the comments if you have a preference. So that is it. I'm at 118 minutes. I made it. I can't believe it. If you want to go get this, you know what I can do is just grab the links for you now. If you want to go and get the autumn thing, you can. You like it? I mean, I can ramble on about stuff, you know, but I mean, if that's not what, what people want to watch, it does help my channel, you know, to be on here. But yeah, I can always show you guys stuff, you know, just as kind of an added whatever. Uh-oh, I don't know what happened with my thing here. Hold on. Oh, that's really strange. Okay. Super weird. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and just give you Junk Journal Boss .etsy.com and use September 25. September, not September, September 25 to get 25% off. Boy. junkjournalboss.etsy.com. I think that's it. Hold on. Let me make sure it's correct. And yes, that is correct. So use September 25 for 25% off this kit. Oh. And then if you want to join Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/junkjournalboss and get all those freebies. And I think that's it for now. Watch your email every Monday because that's where I'm telling you a whole bunch of stuff. I'm also trying to automate things so that I can tell you more things at different times so nobody forgets, but you know, I'm working on it. Thank you so much for being here, and I will talk to you guys later.